Leaders in Whiteville are outlining plans to address financial issues we reported on last month. WECT's Connor Smith pushed the interim city manager for details on how they're fixing the problems. So, Connor, those finances are starting to feel the heat now.
That's right, John. Whiteville's recent audit found a $700,000 deficit and a nearly $2 million reporting error. But Colburn Brown tells us this situation not as bad as it sounds. On paper, Whiteville's finances are in the red. But inside City Hall, the man in charge of the city's cash says they have it under control.
We don't have any concerns from our end. The financials are solid. We feel good about where we are and where we're going.
Last month, we told you about the issues inside the city's audit. A $700,000 budget deficit last year, plus a $1.9 million reporting error. So we sat down with interim city manager Colburn Brown. He doubles as Whiteville's finance director.
We're in a perpetual state of improvement. We're constantly looking for ways to maximize the tax dollars we receive.
At Whiteville's last city council meeting, Brown said he's creating a 20-point plan to address the finances. That includes cutting costs, increasing their tax collection rate, and being more efficient with your tax dollars.
We have to make sure that every dollar there's a return on that investment.
Last year, Whiteville's expenses went up, more money going to the police and fire departments. But revenues dropped. Brown says inflation is a factor and the changes will help.
There's opportunities for us to improve. However, I see a very bright future for the city of Whiteville.
Then there's the $1.9 million reporting error. The audit found that as a result, errors in financial reporting could occur and not be detected. But Brown says the error is actually a good thing. The Vineland Station site was donated to the city, but it took weeks to add that pricey asset to their books, which makes up for the error.
Just a human error, just a miss. Unfortunately, it happened, but it won't happen again because of the processes we now have in place.
That means checking their books earlier and more often, processes that Brown believes will shore up this city's financial health. And Brown says he'll have more details on his 20-point plan at the next city council meeting. That's set for next Tuesday. John?
All right, Connor, the big question here is, because of the low revenues or lower revenues, will the city have to raise taxes because of the financial problems?
Well, Brown and Mayor Terry Mann have both told me that is not their plan, but Brown says they will have to budget a little bit creatively. Of course, we'll follow along throughout that budget making process.
All right, Connor, keep us updated. Thanks.